What's up, everybody? I just recorded this Affliction Ulduar BiS list like a few days ago, but I cleared out some memory in my computer and I accidentally deleted my recording. So if I'm wearing the same thing or you watch my demon one first, that's I already recorded this. My bad. So I just want to get straight into this, and I want to go over each piece and some other pieces that you can get in case you think a piece is too contested or there's a lot of people on it. The set has 14% hit starting off with 3 out of 3 suppression. So we're at our 17% hit marker, and let's get into the items. Best in slot Helm, I think unequivocally for the tier. Crown of Luminescence. Crown of Luminescence is a 252 from Memor on hard mode. If you are worried about this being too contested, a very easy piece that's super solid is Conqueror's Helm. It is also Spirit, Crit, Spell Power, and the 4-piece is super okay. The 2-piece is super important. It adds a decent amount of damage. 20% damage on your unstable affliction really adds up. If you don't like this for some reason, Collar of the Worm Hunter is really good as well with hit, haste, spell power, blue gem. This is alright. I'm going to say this a bunch of times in this video. We are flooded with hidden Ulduar with these eye level upgrades, and really keep an eye out on your hit and try to find places where you can drop it. Moving on from that, this is one of the places I decided to drop hit, the Sapphire Amulet of Renewal. Most of the sets are going to be using Pendant of Fiery Havoc, which is just a direct upgrade from Worm's Necklace of Power, but I find that I don't need the hit, so I'm going to go with the Sapphire Amulet of Renewal with the red socket. They're both 252, so this will be a nice item that I don't think as many people will be going for, because all the casters will want Fiery Havoc. And most people have the EOE neck, so you'll all be sitting pretty. There's not really a neck in between. The 10-man shoulders from Yogg is the best shoulder piece I think that is in the tier. If you want a direct upgrade that doesn't have a lot of competition, tier shoulders will bide you until you can farm these properly. Suit Cover Mantle isn't that good. I don't like it at all. So Conqueror shoulders into Amos, or hopefully just go straight into Amos. In terms of Cloak, the 25-man Algalon Quest Cloak, the Sun Glimmer one, is going to be the best one that you can pick up. There's these 2 other cloaks that are decent. Like this one's 252, but it has hit and crit, which isn't as good for us, so I wouldn't consider it unless you just never are going to get a Sun Glimmer Cloak. You could also pick up the 10-man version, which is still an upgrade over the cloaks from previous tiers, in my humble opinion. Most of you might have like Cave of the Unworthy Wizard. Hopefully you'll have Pennant Cloak, and hopefully you don't have Death Chill. If you have Death Chill, you're down bad. You gotta get a cloak immediately. Get one of those stamina cloaks from Nax if you can. But Sun Glimmer Cloak, and if you can't get a Sun Glimmer Cloak, farm the 10-man, get a Pennant Cloak in the meantime. These are fine. For chest, there's only really one choice. Hopefully you go straight from Valorous into the 25-man Conquerors. But if you don't want this hit for some reason and don't like the way it looks, I think Raiments of the Iron Council are a super solid sleeper pick with Spirit Haste double socket. Robes of Umbral Brute are alright as well. But this is a pretty easy piece to just transition to. In terms of bracers, hopefully you guys have Unsullied and have had luck in OS. If you have Unsullied already, there's 4 bracers that kind of drop, and Grasp of Reason are a direct upgrade of Unsullied. In eye level, it's a 226, and then you jump up to 252. These 3 in between are not very good because they all have hit. 2 of them have Spirit, but these 2 hit in Spirit, and then this one hits Hidden Haste. And if I had to pick one, you could use Braces of Unleashed Magic in the meantime, but you really don't need the hit. So hopefully you just go Unsullied to Grasp of Reason. And if you have to settle, any of these 3 are super alright. Our Combustion Bracer isn't even an upgrade over Unsullied. But if you're fresh, these are BOE, so that's kind of nice. In terms of weapons, so right now, Fusion Blade is simming the best because Star Shard isn't 252. Star Shard's supposed to be 252. If Star Shard was 252, it would be better than Fusion Blade. But the cool thing about Fusion Blade is you can farm it in hard modes in 10-man. So get into do your 10-mans every week. I'm going to say this later. Do your 10-mans every week. There's no reason not to. If you're more of a staff person, I think Ice Core Staff is super solid, and so is Staff of Endless Winter. There's a few options, which is nice. You don't have to wait until KT and then cry when Turning Tide doesn't drop. Rune Scribe Blade is alright as well. But Star Shard and Fusion Blade are going to be the best one-handers, and then I would pick Ice Core Staff or Staff of Endless Winters if you want Staff because you're a Staff person. Now, moving into offhands, most of you probably have Surplus Limb. Cosmos is just a better Surplus Limb because it's 252. It's not written properly right now. If you don't want that hit, Iron Mender is going to be the place you want to go. Spirit Haste. Leviathan Fueling Manual just has more hit on it, which is super alright. And then Matriarch Spawn is Matriarch Spawn. We all know and love Matriarch Spawn. But I would shoot for Iron Mender or Cosmos in my offhand, depending on my hit situation. Cosmos is going to be better, but Iron Mender might be less contested. Now for gloves, these gloves are the best. That's just it. Everyone's going to be going for these gloves, so keep an eye out for it. Not everyone's going to get it. You might have to settle. If I had to settle, Conquer gloves are super alright. They're basically a direct upgrade of the Valorous gloves, and if you want to get a little bit sneaky, Pulsar gloves are really solid too. These are BiS in my demo video, and I would find a way to incorporate it into Affliction if I really had to, but Forest gloves would be ideal. For belt, it's really nice because our best in slot belt, in my opinion, comes from tailoring. Sash of the Ancient Power is insane because it has 3 sockets, haste and hit. There's nothing else really like it. If you want to be, I guess, cheap, you can go for Star Watcher's Binding, which is really solid as well. 3 sockets, Spirit Crit. And most of you should have Cinctor or Leash by now if you're coming from the last tier. So one of these 2 belts and you'll be a very happy camper. In terms of legs, most of you probably have Wonton if you've been very lucky. If you're not, you probably have Valorous legs. And Conquer is a direct upgrade over the Valorous version of the legs. Leggings of Enslaved Idol are alright, but there's way too much hit. You don't get anything out of it. It doesn't have any haste. So if nobody really needed it, maybe you could find a way to use it, but I don't really see a good way to use it. So I would use Conquer because out of all the pieces to maintain 2-piece, legs and chest are the best too. For boots, there's 2 boots. The Boots of Fiery Resolution and Treads of the False Oracle. I think either of these would be very, very solid choices. I think Boots of Fiery Resolution is better than False Oracle, but if you were like overflowing in False Oracles, I would take one over Arcanic Tramplers if I had to. But I think these are better than False Oracle. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for these to drop, there's going to be a tailoring version of Spellslinger's Slippers, which is a baby version of the Boots of Fire Resolution. So you can use these in the meantime, and I think these are better than Arcanic Tramplers because they have 2 sockets, and Arcanic Tramplers don't have any sockets. So 62, 46, 99, 51, 95, 66, but 44, 86, 60, but 2 sockets. I think the sockets pull ahead. But the boots are pretty straightforward between the two 252 ones. Rings, there's 2, maybe 3, and borderline 4 choices. Conductive Seal and Nebula Band are going to be your best in slot rings. There's nothing really close. If you're down bad for hit for some reason, you can go into 10-man and get the Shimmering Seal. I think this is a really good ring, and this would replace Signet if your set's currently relying on Signet, and it's 10-man farmable. Do your 10-mans. And this other ring, Signet of Soft Lament, is super, super okay. I would rather it be haste, but some people have really down bad they have really down bad ring situations because the best of slot rings are a little bit, Signet's a little bit annoying to get because it never drops. So you might be rocking like a Halloween ring and the Valor ring. So you want to upgrade. Signet of Soft Lament, I think, is better than the Halloween ring. Now Trinkets, there's 4 Trinkets, right? There's Scales of Fate, which would be insane if fights around 2 minutes, maybe like 2:15. There's Dying Curse, which you don't really need if you have the hit for it to not be there. I don't really like it that much on Affliction because you can't control when it procs. So if you're trying to slip a Fatty Drain Soul, the odds that your proc will be there are pretty low. And then there's the Creme de la Creme, Flare of the Heavens, which is the best trinket of the tier, 252 with almost 1,000 spell power proc, which is absolutely crazy. And then if you're looking for something very consistent, or you're speed running, I still think Illustration is the best trinket possible because of the longevity of it. wand, this is the best one. There's not really anything else like it. If you want a wand in the meantime, Scepter of the Lost Souls is alright, but nothing beats a Spirit Socket hit wand at this point in the game. It's basically just a significantly better gemmed wand of the Nerubians. Now that we talked about that, I want to talk about which items would I go for first, and the thing I would go for as Affliction. It really depends on what your guild ended up getting last year. I venture to say the majority of you don't have Turning Tide, so I think Flare will be heavily contested and will probably go to your demo first if your loot council is thinking in a raid setting. If you're able to get Flare first, I would get Flare first, but I don't think a lot of Flares will be going to Affliction Warlocks first, depending on the loot council. So I would shoot for a weapon, and I would try to pick up Star Shard Edge, very large in charge weapon. And I would be farming 10 mans every week for my Fusion Blade. I would be trying to farm 10 mans for my 10 man Sun Glimmer Drape. I'd be trying to get extra rings, like Signet Supplement. Like I would be farming 10 man every week, but I would go for Flare with a caveat that it's not going to a Demo Warlock, and then secondary weapon. And then after that, I would start shooting for any of these 252 off pieces, like Helm. I would like these boots, or Pharaoh's gloves are very, very contested. So there's a few really good options after the first two, but I mean, Flare, caveat, Fusion Blade, then Pharaoh's gloves, and then Crown right after that. And I build from there, because it's hard to make a list of like, these are the biggest DPS impact pieces that are direct upgrades, because your sets are dynamic with what you have already and what you have available to you, how much hit you have, and the other raw stats at your disposal, and your talents. So remember to keep your sets dynamic, and I hope this helps you guys make some decisions and can come to your loot council with like, this is what I want. Would you be able to make this happen? I am going to be streaming a ton of Ulduar from a Warlock's point of view, although I'll be demo, and I hope you guys can tune into that. This will be starting next week on Thursday, and I would love to talk to you guys about gear. If you think I'm wrong or right, leave a comment. Check me out at Twitch, twitch.tv/ItsPummel. Again, streaming a lot. Come say hi, and if you like what you saw, please drop a follow and subscribe. It helps immensely. I love making these videos and helping players with their gearing and mastery of the game. I'm open anytime through my Discord. Come and chat with me, and I hope you all have a fantastic time and enjoy Ulduar. I've heard great things. Now let's see if those great things happen, and I hope to catch you next time. Peace.